Here in the UK, the first round of voting in the Conservative leadership contest takes place this morning, when at least one of the 10 candidates will be knocked out of the race. Tory MPs will hold a private ballot, with contenders needing a minimum of 16 votes to continue. A new Prime Minister is expected to be in office by the end of July. Well, we have Cornelia Meyer with us, I'm delighted to say, Chief Executive of MRL Corporation. Lovely to see you, Cornelia.
Good morning.
So it's all still to play for the 10 nominations, candidates as it were. Give us your take on what might happen today.
Well, I think, you know, what you see is that Boris has so far, I think, 82 votes, Boris Johnson, who is the front runner by leaps and bounds. And then you have other people who seem to be safe, which is Dominic Raab with 22 votes, Hunt with 32 votes, Sajid Javid with 18 votes, and Matt Hancock with 16 votes. They seem safe.
According to what?
According to the Daily Telegraph.
Okay, let's just make that clear.
Yeah, according to the Daily Telegraph, which is obviously highly pro-Boris. He writes a column there.
He does, and we have to make it very clear that those thoughts on the number of votes they might get, I mean, it is a private ballot. We won't actually
absolutely
know.
And people may say one thing and then vote the other way, and nobody can prove. But it seems, but when you look at it, these seem to be fairly in good hands. And you have the Brexiteer camp. You have Boris Johnson, Dominic Raab, Esther McVey, Andrea Leadsom, who are the uber-Brexiteers.
What do you make of the front-runners? Most of the media today is discussing Boris Johnson, the former Foreign Secretary, the former Mayor of London, because he did his big launch. He launched his campaign yesterday. He set his stall out, as it were. He's a very controversial figure. Many say he's like Marmite. You love him or you loathe him.
I think he is like Marmite. The thing, though, is I think he's vastly popular with the Tories that will be voting. You know, first it's the parliamentary vote, and then you have the Tory membership, the 160,000 Tory membership, that will then, when they've whittled it down to 2, will get the vote. He seems very, very popular. And the one thing that I find astounding is they all run against one man, essentially. They all essentially run against Nigel Farage, who is not in the Conservative Party, who is not a contender, but he set the agenda with Brexit.
Well, it might be argued that they're running against him, but also they're running with the thought of a general election.
Absolutely.
And Jeremy Corbyn as well, the leader of the opposition party.
And a lot of people think that Boris, with his charm, will be able to get there in a general election. And Boris himself said if they're kicking the can further down the road on Brexit, that will be the end of the Conservative Party, which is, as a future Prime Minister, he should not think of the party really so much. He should think of the country, shouldn't he?
Well, we'll continue this conversation in the news briefing, because that story is one that's dominating in the UK for good reason. Thank you for now, though, Cornelia. She's back, as I say, a little later in this programme.